but they don't belong in the newsroom.
This just in, scientists discovered that Canadian bacon is actually ordinary ham.
This made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad movie.
Miserable bloody Romans, no sense of humour.
With what Dr. Ashland just said, do you concur?
Don't talk to it, Mary. Don't encourage it.
We're just like Kevin Bacon.
The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. I think we can all appreciate the relevance of that now.
Welcome back to the Hollywood Thumb, a short-form movie news podcast. Yeah, that's what this is, a podcast. Brought to you by the parent podcast, It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King. In the studio with me today...
Hi, I'm Doug.
It's Doug. See here, you've seen Doug on a couple of our other episodes and also been featured on a few episodes of It's Just Two Movies. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Sad news up top. I guess this was a name that I'd never heard before, but Litvinoff, producer of A Clockwork Orange and Man Who Fell to Earth, dies at 93. That's a long run.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know.
Can you imagine being 93 years old? Put a bullet in my head.
I didn't know him by name, so I went and looked him up, and 8 films. That's it.
8?
2 of them are those films, and like the rest I hadn't seen. Like
that's so weird.
It's kind of a very strange.
Well, because A Clockwork Orange is like, that was one of the first movies I ever watched as like, I don't know, young teen. I was probably like 15 years old the first time I watched A Clockwork Orange, and I was like, holy fuck, I've never seen a movie this twisted before.
Yeah,
wow.
that was about the age I was too, and I remember like
what a weird, bizarre, perverse, and yeah. I loved it, man. I was all about it.
It was so much of it didn't feel like a movie to me. It was like, what is happening? Like, why are these why? Because it didn't have scenes the way a movie normally did. It was like a stage play full of rape and violence.
Yeah, it was.
I remember
that's good. It did feel more like a stage play. That's a good analogy.
It was extremely disturbing at 15.
Man, I remember when I watched that when I went to school the next day, and I was like, dude, you guys, I got this movie. I'll let you borrow it. You know what I mean? It was an impactful film for me, but I guess he worked in production at some point. I don't know what he did. And I wish I'd had time to look over more of his career, but sounds like there wasn't a lot to it.
I mean, he made a dent where he did, though.
If you're only going to do a few things, A Clockwork Orange is probably a cool one to have done. Next thing, Doug, are you a video game guy?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you play The Last of Us?
Sure did. In fact, actually, I don't really get the game a whole lot anymore, but I made a point for 1 and 2 to like go out of my way to get them and play them and love them.
That's cool, man. Really, really enjoyed them. I still have not played the second one because I heard so many negative reviews about the story.
No.
But then I've heard 2 or 3 people just be like, no, dude, you still got to play it. And I will. I've let my kid take my PlayStation. But one of these days I'm going to go in there and I'm going to work up the courage to take it back.
No, do it. I mean, it's the first game tells you exactly how the second game's going to play out, which is the sense that it's like the first game takes place over like a while. Like you jump through time and like it's, time passes. And the second game is the same thing. And just, it's a logical step forward. Like all that missing time from the first game to the second in the real world. Like that's packaged into the game. Like that's time that isn't just like unaccounted for. It isn't like they're just like, oh, we're gonna pick up the next day. It's like, fuck no, we're gonna spend like, however long it was, like 8 years, and like these characters are gonna be older and have went through more shit.
Yeah, definitely. So we're closing in real fast on the HBO series. Yeah, HBO series, The Last of Us, starring Pedro Pascal and other people whose name I don't have in front of me. There was an interview with the creators. They said that one thing that they really wanted to do in the series was explore the origins of the cordyceps fungus infection much deeper than they did in the video games. As a generally nerdy guy, and I always care about the science. So like I'll watch a movie with a very loose scientific, they just posture something as fact, and then I will look it up after the movie because I just like to know. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see somebody dive in about the thing that on my first play of the game is fantastic. The story is fucking top shelf, but one of the things that had its hooks in me is the first time they uttered the word cordyceps, because I'm already very familiar with
with
that fungus as somebody who's just into that kind of stuff.
I remember like 10, 12 years ago, maybe there was like a viral story about that.
Oh yeah.
And how it would spread on ants and they would carry it back to their ant hole. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. And then the other ants would get it, and it was like they titled it as like zombie ant virus or something.
Fuck yeah,
like they would take over the zombies or like zombies.
Man, that shit came out like season 2 of The Walking Dead, and they're like, actually, zombie ants, you guys, check this out.
Real quick for your listeners and yourself, do you know something that I accidentally found out works really good on the clickers?
Oh, what's that?
So fire obviously is like what they want you to try to use.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, a headshot with an arrow will kill them super fast.
No kidding.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't understand it because you think a bullet would do the same thing.
Right, yeah.
But the arrow takes them down fast.
Yeah, there's got to be something, I guess. Well, I mean, that would still track, because fungal infection or not, the brain is still the thing that runs.
It's the nervous motor system.
Yeah, runs the machine. No, that tracks. That's I don't know that I knew that, but when I did play The Last of Us originally, it was trial and error. I didn't play it on easy mode, which I do for a lot of games, because I'm just not a very good gamer, to be honest with you.
I play a lot of shit on easy because I just want to beat the game. I don't care about it challenging me.
No, I just want the experience. I don't want the challenge. Challenge is for people that have more free time than me. But so I'm looking forward to that. Here we go. Looks like Collider had an interview with Nick Cage in regards to the long-awaited Face Off sequel. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he remarked on the idea of how the two main characters are now old enough that their children are grown, so that would add an extra layer to it. So what I gathered from reading the interview with Cage was that maybe the children of John Travolta and Nick Cage are also going to face off. So now you've got this weird 3D chess fucking kind of thing going on where, well, who's who? But it's not that person. It's that guy. And I don't know, man. It's just such a fucking weird, bonkers, fun movie. I for sure would be in for this.
I know that when they announced that Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, your next team, is doing that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think I had referred the guest to you more than a few times. And if you watch that, you could see where a face-off sequel from that team.
Oh, yeah.
Because I loved Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think Wingard killed that. Like, he had a stretch there where he was fucking with studio movies and they just weren't working as well. And that one was a blast. But him doing this is the first time I've heard Cage talk about it. Like, whether or not he's involved or anything. Like, so
it sounds like he's
kind of like on the fence.
He's got something. Yeah, he's got something going on there. So
seems like there's ideas stewing around. So I would imagine that they would want him. Like, why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. Well, he's fucking. It's so funny, man, because I would say 10 years ago, most of the world was like, "Ha, Nick Cage, ha." You remember that? You remember Nick Cage?
Yeah.
And he's just fucking back and killing it, man.
Yeah. He's Dark Horse in it. I love that.
Yeah, he is. He sure is. Man, fucking Mandy, Color Out of Space. Even that fucking Willy's Wonderland, it's cheesy as shit, but I really got a kick out of it.
He's the best part of the movie. Like, I didn't love that movie, but he's the best aspect of it.
I didn't like how it's supposed to be animatronic robots, and it's just very obviously just people.
It was very bad action sequences. Like, you can tell what's going on 90% of it.
Yeah.
They didn't escalate. They it wouldn't even call them set pieces. Like, it was more or less just like a few beats of action and that's it.
That's some fun whip pans.
Yeah, well, that's something.
That's a thing.
But yeah, on your list, Pig.
Oh, fuck
Pig.
Yeah, Pig was fucking awesome. Yeah. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, like, he's just on a fucking tear, man. Like, somewhere, 2018, 2017, all of a sudden you started just making shit again that you want to see.
Yep. And I guess that's what you get for just being one of the hardest working men in Hollywood.
No joke. I mean,
when you're just doing everything, you get enough bangers where eventually people are like, they stop seeing because he's not in everything. There was a period of his career where you couldn't go to the movies and not see a Nick Cage movie.
Mm.
And that's not the case anymore. When you're in every movie that's in theaters, some of them are bad.
The Rock, I'm looking at you.
You don't like The Rock?
He does some bad movies.
I
can't say it's him.
I liked The Rock, but I haven't seen it in like 15 years, so it could
No,
be
no, no,
absolute
no.
garbage.
Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, The Rock. Okay, I thought you were
Rock.
talking about the movie
Not
The Rock.
That explains why your shock was there. I was like, shock. That's not a hot take. But
Yeah,
now
no.
that is a hot. Yeah, I see.
I am rock fatigued.
Yeah,
myself.
he's where. You know what movie of his I love though? As a quick aside,
Yeah,
Rampage.
I liked Rampage.
I loved
too.
Rampage.
Boy, that got shit on real hard. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
everyone was tearing it up. I'm like, if there's one movie I've seen where it feels like, yeah, I believe The Rock in this world, it's that movie.
Yeah, I think that's when we went and watched in theaters. And when I was sitting there watching it, and there's a bit where the dog starts to fly, he like opens his arms and glides. There was a guy sitting behind me, and he goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like,
yes.
"Yeah, man, why not? It's a fucking giant alligator. What? You ever played Rampage, dude?"
Yeah, I mean, it was the peak of Movie Pass that summer. All right, moving on.
All right, so see here. Looks like Paul Mescal has been cast to star in Ridley Scott's Gladiator sequel. It's been a really long time since I've seen this, and I was like, surely they're not going to just pick up right where the last one left off. But I did look it up because I was curious what was going on here. It looks like he's going to be playing the role of Lucius, son of Lucilia, who was played by Connie Nielsen in the original movie. So he's not going to be taking the role of, fuck, you'd think I would have wrote their names down, but I'm a bad journalist.
Russell Crowe's, I can't remember his fucking name for
Yeah.
shit. And I don't know how I can.
Maximus Aurelius.
Yeah, he is. Yes, yeah. It was Maximus, dude. Yeah. But, yeah, man, that, you know, if there's one person I think needs to, like, someone needs to just go, like, hey, man, like, it's okay that you don't make sequels to everything you make. It's Ridley Scott. We gotta put a stop to him.
Man.
Like, I think he's a fucking amazing filmmaker, and I think when he hits, it's just unparalleled.
He's getting a little out of control.
There's some, you know, his last 15 years worth of work has just left me kind of
Here we go. I got some more casting stuff. This has got me pretty excited. Tim Blake Nelson joins the cast of Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2. Looks like they've also already announced Austin Butler and Florence Pugh as some of the other newcomers. You know, I gotta say, I tried to read Frank Herbert's Dune when I was a wee lad of probably 12. It's just over my head at the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get all the way through it, and I think I even made 2 or 3 attempts at it. And I was just like, I would get a third of the way through the book and go, I'm so fucking bored. So I never read it. I never finished it. Years later, I watched the film, the older film directed by
David Lynch.
David Lynch, thank you. I watched the David Lynch film, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I like it. I get it. And I'm here for it.
You're in the minority there.
Yeah, I never caught the Dune fever. I was never like, this is the fucking coolest thing.
To some people, it's like the Bible. Like, I don't hate it and I don't love it. Like, I can't say like love it, but I mean like love it the way these people do. Like, there's like that Lord of the Rings kind of like, you know, like those people. It's like
fangirled hard for LMTR.
And it's not a criticism of that at all. I'm just saying like it's like there's like the type of person like Harry Potter. Like there's like some of these books it's like biblical to these people. And like Dune has its folk like that too.
Yeah. And although I was never one of those people, I will say I really did enjoy Denis Villeneuve's the Dune, the first one that came out. We watched it on HBO during the pandemic, and I was like, you know what? I'm liking this.
You're part of the problem.
I'm part of the problem.
Remember, he got like big mad about it.
He did get big mad about it.
He got big mad
because I watched it on HBO.
That they released it on HBO.
He was butthurt about it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, make movie tickets $6 again.
Well, I guess it was him and who else had that in their contract that they were getting theatrical first. Someone else that part of that WB thing.
Was it Godzilla? Was it Kong versus Godzilla?
No.
That one dropped like almost the same time.
It dropped the same day, hit theaters. All of them did. But there was someone else that had that in their contract too. Denis had it.
No, it wasn't Mortal Kombat.
There was someone else that had it on my friend worked on that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you about it.
It's a train wreck, but I liked it.
I'll tell you about it off mic. There's some stuff.
I liked it for all the wrong reasons.
I don't know that scene with Sub-Zero when he shows up. That's peak cinema, dude. For real.
Oh, you're talking about like later in the movie?
The town.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was. I mean, to me, that was just like
Yeah,
fucking
I was
awesome.
Yeah, it was like when they did that, I was like, oh fuck yeah, all right, here we go. And then the rest of it was just kind of.
It's a lot of fan service. Felt like they're cramming shit in there to cram it in there.
Yep,
But it's like that scene. I'm like, if this whole movie had this feeling, it would be fucking top tier.
Enjoy this new character we made just for this. Why? You've got 35 fucking. You've got
Way
40 fucking
more than 35. I just played Mortal Kombat 11 the other day for the first time.
Oh God,
Jesus Christ! There's like
fucking what? You could be fucking Ronald McDonald,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
There's
They've
everybody's
phased out at least 1,000 characters and added 30 more.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's
Jesus,
crazy.
Yeah.
See here. So yeah, some casting stuff. Are you a Tim Blake Nelson fan?
Dude, I am, and you know what? I feel like he's everyone who knows.
Yep.
And have you watched
Tim Blake Nelson's got it. You talking about Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities? Fuck yeah, bud. Yep. That's my favorite episode.
Dude, it's my favorite too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's piece of trivia. The guy that directed that, long-time cinematographer. And he shot like Pan's Labyrinth. He shot Desperado. Like he's been in the industry for 35 years. Guillermo del Toro, and like Del Toro paid it back and was like, "Here, take
awesome.
a crack at directing.
Yeah,
here you go."
Fuck yeah, that's cool as shit.
And that episode was just like, I want more from Guillermo. I didn't like the other Guillermo.
Yeah,
I didn't know that it would be like I had no idea like his craft would be so.
I'm a huge fan of Tim Blake Nelson, and I saw there's like I know you're kind of like over the Marvel superhero kick or whatever. I did see some. I'm not sure if this was speculation or if any of this was confirmed, but in I want to say the first Hulk movie, there's an Easter egg where you're like, oh, maybe Tim Blake Nelson's gonna be leader. And somebody somewhere along the line was like, yeah, we're going to bring that back. So Tim Blake Nelson maybe in a new Marvel movie sometime?
Have you seen Colossal with Jason Sudeikis and Anne Hathaway?
No, I've looked at it several times and been like, this actually looks like it's up my alley.
Sudeikis is so fucking good in it, dude.
Something about Anne Hathaway in like a CGI monster-led thing reads to me as like, this might not be in my wheelhouse. If you're telling me it's worth my time, I'm going to check it out.
It's a weird movie because it's not that movie. Like, it's not what you think it's going to be. Like, the CGI monster stuff is kind of a...
Yeah, it seems like almost like an Ella Enchanted sort of vibe, but it's not.
No.
Okay, the poster's giving... It's giving...
Terrible poster.
It's giving... Oh, I don't know, whatever kind of woke shit people say.
Yeah. Sudeikis has got a fucking arc in that is just great. But Tim Blake Nelson's in it too. That's why I was referring to. Oh,
all right. Yeah, I'm down for that. Big fan of Tim Blake Nelson. Excited to see him in that, especially under the direction of Denis Villeneuve. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And at this point,
I believe it's Villeneuve.
I think it's Villeneuve, yeah. Or Villeneuve. I don't know. The French, they're very particular about it, I think. Hey there, all our French listeners, which we do have quite a few.
Like and subscribe.
Weirdly. Yeah, like and subscribe. Do it. Anyway, Wednesday, renewed for season 2 over at Netflix. Are you surprised?
No. I tell you what, that's one of my last night when we guest on the ATI podcast and we were doing our disappointments of the year.
Yeah.
Dude, if I had to say, like, if there's one surprise this year for me,
that was it.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's like, I think Jenna Ortega is a fantastic actress, and I think she's got it, like, dude, at this age, she's like 19, 20, and she's doing stuff like X. And she's doing, Scream and this. And I'm just like, man, this girl's on fire. Like, 20 years old, if she's doing this kind of work, imagine what she's going to be doing at 15 or 20. Like,
right. Yeah.
She's just...
By the time she's 40?
Yeah. She's just incredible. And, like, I love that Christina Ricci came back and kind of, like, put a thumbprint on it. I thought that was so cool. But I was super worried about Burton, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's like, I think...
Wondering if he was out of touch for it.
People of a certain age, like ourselves, like I really think some of our most definitive cinematic experiences, like formative years of childhood, you couldn't escape Tim Burton.
No.
And I look back on like so much of the idealisms and like visuals that he introduced me to, like German expressionism and just like the heightened darkness and like
give-
surrealism.
Give me an example of German expressionism.
Well, so like Nosferatu, right?
Okay,
and like
okay.
early Metropolis, like early 30s German art and kind of like pre-art deco in like New York.
I'm with you.
So
now.
it was
That-
like a lot
that
more
tracks.
exaggerated, a lot bigger lines, a lot more shadows, a lot more contrast. Starky.
Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the
Yeah.
Giant Peach,
Yeah.
Batman 1989.
Batman 1989, you look at like the set design for the city and everything's very tight and very tall. And there's a shitload of shadow.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hot take: Gotham has never looked better.
No.
I
agree,
I don't
agree.
think even to present day. I don't think the most recent Batman movies have ever done Gotham as much justice as Burton did back in the 80s.
I think Nolan's Chicago-based set pieces are about as good as it gets as a second runner.
They look good. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do look good. Burton's just has it has an eerie feeling about it. Like I feel like you could like bump into a brick wall in that Gotham and maybe get a staph infection.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's
yeah,
spooky. It's a
just
scary place.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like a heightened scary. Like it's not like whereas like I love Matt Reeves. I enjoyed the Batman quite a bit, but I also feel like I don't know. I don't need to talk about it. Enough people are talking about the Batman. Like I
Yeah.
don't need to add to that conversation. But I'll say like London spooky, yeah, but it feels like real spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Burton's feels like it has like a performative art aspect to it that like I always
Yeah.
enjoyed. Like I always felt like the movie was just like kind of like if you were a little kid, like you're 10 years old, and someone said draw a spooky city,
Right.
it would be that.
Yeah.
And also not a hot take at all because I'll stand by it and I'll fight to the death. The best Batmobile ever made.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Just campy enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although I like the animated series Batmobile too.
I like the Tumbler. I just don't like it as a Batmobile.
I don't either, and I don't like the motorcycle.
Yeah,
at all. Like the motorcycle's fine, but
yeah,
it's just not.
the motorcycle by itself, cool as shit.
Yeah.
Not very Batman though, in my opinion.
To me, it was always like that third or fourth tier. Like Batman's like, oh, he's on his motorcycle today. Like it's, it's
Right.
it's
Must be really nice in Gotham.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I guess it didn't rain for an hour.
See here. So yeah, Wednesday season 2 getting a renewal at Netflix. That is a series I have not got to watch yet, but my kid rants and raves about it, and I respect my child's take on stuff because she's got fucking good taste.
Have you not seen it?
I have not had the
Oh,
chance.
dude.
No, it is next on my list.
My only
I
issue is
had-
it's the same thing with a lot of Netflix and subscription based series.
Yeah,
Just tie it up a little sooner. Come on, like we don't need
stretching it a bit.
we don't need 15-hour long episodes.
I'd watched. I guess this was in October. I was watching Yellow Jackets,
Mhm.
and I was really
Yellow Jackets is so fucking
I was
good,
fucking
yeah.
really enjoying it. I was like, whoa, there's all kinds of crazy shit going on here. It's almost like those first 2 or 3 seasons of Lost.
Yeah.
Where I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
there's
for sure. That
something
actually kind
else
of
going
worried
on
me
here.
initially, but then it didn't.
Yeah,
really,
it balanced out. And I was like, as soon as that was over, that I think that was when I had seen a thing that was like, oh, Wednesday's coming out on Netflix or whatever. I was like, I'm going to watch that next. And I have not had time to watch another series since October. I have not watched a single series because I haven't had time.
I understand.
It is the next one on my list I plan on checking out. Okay, here's one I was excited. So I read about this bit of news and I just started I get
shakes.
I get overly excited.
Got nervous diarrhea.
Yeah, like a dog that is so excited to see you.
Shit your
I
pants.
piss myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looks like Michael Giacchino is set to take
Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino?
Michael Giacchino.
Okay. What did I say? Giacchino?
No, it's okay. Like honestly, like I had to look up how
Giacchino?
he says his own name.
Giacchino?
Michael Giacchino.
Just like the game Kino with a J in front of it? Okay, Michael Giacchino. All right, then fine. Michael.
Yeah, it's like I'm not correcting people to be an asshole. It's like I went through the same thing. Yeah,
I
and
want
I
to
was
know
like, oh yeah.
Giacchino. It's so weird because I listened to one other movie news related podcast and I have heard his name pronounced before as Giacchino.
Yeah.
And that's why I went with that because I'm like, okay, well,
There's
surely
like a
they
video
would-
on YouTube that's like 12 seconds long, and it's like, how do you say your name? And he's like, Michael Giacchino.
Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
Michael Giacchino.
That's like, oh. Okay.
But he is set to take the helm for a reboot of the 1950s monster movie classic, Them. And if you're not familiar with Them, it's like giant radioactive ants.
Yeah, it's one
Back-
of Eastwood's
back when-
first on-screen appearances, famously.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I love this era. I love this era in cinema where we're coming off of World War II into the nuclear age, and everybody's like radioactive, whatever. A
Yeah.
movie about a slug? No, thank you. radioactive slug the size of a house, yes,
Take it.
please.
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. Marcel the Shell with shoes on, not
No.
interested.
1980s?
If he's the size of a Volkswagen Beetle,
The
now we're
80s,
talking.
early 90s. So, like, 80s version of that, Toxic Waste Slug.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 90s version of that is genetically modified slug.
Yeah. Early 2000s, internet slug.
Internet slug. Cybernetically altered slug.
Right.
AI slug.
2010s, AI slug. Yeah, exactly. So I'm such a big fan of that era of cinema where they're like, I don't know, like giant crabs, giant.
What's everyone
giant
afraid
ants,
of? Radioactivity? Here we go.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a radioactive thing that's creepy anyway. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah,
But I'm really excited to watch that because we were
the-
this close to covering them in an episode of the podcast that's actually already recorded but doesn't air for another 2 weeks. And it was a split that we literally could not decide, so we flipped a coin.
Really?
And we landed on a different movie.
Oh, shit. What was the other movie?
It's called Glass Trap.
Oh, I don't know that.
It wasn't good. But it was a bit of fun.
What was the counter program?
Ant-Man.
Okay. Okay.
So that tracks.
Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, okay.
See here. Got a couple of trailers this week. This is the last thing we're going to talk about.
Well, hang on, I want to make two things real quick.
Yeah.
Giacchino did of course, like Werewolf by Night, everybody's seen.
I fucking loved Werewolf
Did
by
a
Night.
fucking great short film I saw at a festival a few years ago. I think it's got Patton Oswalt in it, and it is called Monster Challenge, and it's got Patton Oswalt. What the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't know.
It's Patton Oswalt.
I like Patton Oswalt.
Dressed up as a kaiju in a commercial, in a commercial that's being shot in Japan, and it's just wacky and it's really funny, and Werewolf by Night seems to be following kind of like his.
Is it obviously Patton Oswalt?
Oh yeah, it takes the helmet off and everything. Like, it's like they're shooting a commercial where he's supposed to play a kaiju, but he's so confused by what's happening. It's really funny. It's wonderful. I wonder if he's going to put it online or not. But,
yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah,
that sounds like something that's right.
But Werewolf by Night, and then of course like them. That feels like a perfect trajectory for like that guy's career. But with that said, one last thing. If there's you ever get a chance to, it took me years of knowing about this movie to finally hunt it down, buy a copy, and watch it. Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins, Inner Space, Explorers, Small Soldiers, he did a movie around 1990 starring John Goodman called Matinee. And
I've seen Matinee.
Yeah, dude, not enough people talk about it.
Oh my god, yeah,
so fucking good.
Wow, you're just like.
Yeah.
Man, it was almost like you crept into the back of my brain and we're like, you remember this childhood memory?
Yeah, and it's literally what you're talking about right there. It's like literally like a film director who makes those cheesy radioactive insect monster movies, backdrops against the Cuban Missile Crisis. Wow. That sounds boring as fuck, but I assure you the movie is not. It is a fucking hoot. Front to back. It is one of the most delightful movies I've seen, and I'm sad it took me this long to finally watch it.
Wow, yeah. I haven't heard of that. No, I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I just straight up blind bought a copy of it on Blu-ray because I was just like, it's never on TV, it's never on streaming, it's just fucking, I've never seen it. I've never even seen it in a video store.
You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, I fucking ate it up, and I'm so pissed the like 10-year-old me didn't get to watch that.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, I got two more things and we got to get out of here. This is the longest running episode of the news ever. Trailers. Let's do some trailer talk real quick. There were a handful of trailers released over the last week. I only want to talk about two. The two that really piqued my interest were Evil Dead Rise. Rise or Rises? It's just Rise. Evil Dead Rise and Renfield. So, I mean, I guess, did you catch both of those?
I've put off watching both of them.
Okay, great. Well, that means we are about at our end here. A couple of things I do want to say. The Evil Dead Rise thing, we got the poster first, and I saw the poster and was like, eek, this is not, it just looks like a smile, something like that. And then you got the trailer, and I'm like, okay, never mind. Scratch that. It's just, they just wanted to use that poster. It's not a great poster, but holy shit, the trailer looks fucking wild. Same thing with Renfield. I had no idea what to expect out of this, but I knew Nicolas Cage was going to play Dracula, and you get a look at both. And it's got that weird quality about it where they're like, actually, we're going to take the sidekick and make the movie about the sidekick. What was that movie they did with fucking Daniel Radcliffe where he's Igor, and the movie's called like Frankenstein or something like that. No, it wasn't I, Frankenstein. That one's way worse. But this had Daniel Radcliffe and fucking.
It's not the one with Aaron Eckhart, is it?
Nope, not Aaron Eckhart.
That's I, Frankenstein, right?
That's I, Frankenstein, yeah. Which was such a weird...
It's just such a weird period of time. Like, you got like Dracula Untold, you got...
So this was, it's the story of Frankenstein. Dr. Victor Frankenstein was played by the guy from Split. Hell, I don't know why I can't think of his fucking name. Yeah, James McAvoy.
What?
James McAvoy plays Victor Frankenstein, and Daniel Radcliffe...
Wasn't it just called Victor?
It might have been called Victor. And Daniel Radcliffe plays Igor, and the whole story is shown from Igor's perspective. So it's kind of doing that, but imagine Igor has superpowers that Victor Frankenstein also gave him. Because Victor Frankenstein's not Victor Frankenstein, he's Dracula. Yeah, so it's very unusual. As soon as we're done watching the news here, I'm gonna show you those trailers. But that is gonna do it for the news for us this week. Doug, do you have anything that you'd like to add for the good people out there?
For those wondering, it's called Victor Frankenstein.
The movie's called Victor Frankenstein?
Yes.
And that, Ridley Scott, is how you close the loop. That's been the news. Good evening.
That's just grossly inappropriate.
Come on, Ed, it's bullcrap!
A saucy line will not get you far with me.
He's not the best far. He's a very naughty boy. Stop being such a dick.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's just a voice in my head.
Your love of the halfling's leap has clearly slowed your mind.
Good speech. Nice and short. Leaves more time for drinking. Break out the ale! These men are thirsty!
The Hollywood Thumb is brought to you by It's Just Too